so let's get back to Ursula a little bit here. Um, I don't know if we answered this or not, but let's ask it anyways. She says she's had some very difficult years. Is there a greater purpose to that, or is it just because she got kind of trapped into the matrix?
No, there's a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose was so that she could understand humanity properly.
Okay, right, and be able to help other people, right?
Yes, because humanity needs a great deal of healing energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's undergoing this ascension, and it needs as much healing as possible to be brought in. People, she can help Mother Gaia, but she can also help humanity too. But she can't help if she doesn't understand where their level, what their level is, and where they need to be brought up to.
Okay. Right. The difference from point A and point B, if you don't know what the bottom and the top is, you can't tell how close somebody is to either end of the spectrum.
That's right. And she wouldn't know what she's trying to lift them from.
Right. And where to?
Right.
Where to go? Okay. It's amazing. And now I'm just curious about this. I don't think it's going to apply, but I have had some friends that were living particularly hard lives on purpose in order to pay off some kind of a karmic debt for when they maybe abused their powers in past lives. Is any of that coming into play as well for Ursula?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
She doesn't originate from Earth.
Okay. How many lives has she had on Earth? Just the one?
15.
Wow, that's not that very many at all.
She's come in usually as a healer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been gathering information each time. Most of the time she gets killed for her efforts.
Right, get burned at the stake or drowned, things like this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any past life traumas that we can clear at this time that might be following her around that result from her untimely demise from being a healer? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Can we release anything from the past lives, please?
She's done a number of healing exercises over the years.
Okay.
She has released a lot of the energies that she has acquired from that. She has released a lot of those energies, and
integrated the positive lessons as well, right?
that's actually one of the reasons that she gets people still lying to her and making false accusations. She has been burned at the stake and tortured. She has been used as sacrificial offerings because of deceptions, lies that have been told.
Right.
That energy is slightly still carrying around.
Right. So people that took part in those types of things in the past themselves kind of subconsciously pick up on that.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Would it be allowed for us to clear the rest of that today? Can we do that for her?
Yes.
Thank you. And I just want to get off the topic here again just for a moment, but I find that I never ran into this type of problem back when I was a car salesman, which you would think that anybody could say whatever they wanted about a car salesman, right? But nobody ever talked about me. But since the last few months, since I've kind of started to go down this path as a healer, all of a sudden people are starting to say things about me that I don't think are real. Can you talk about that? What is going on there? Why did that suddenly start? Because it hasn't been following me around for my whole life.
It's because you're clearing your energy fields.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is residue in your energy fields that's coming up.
From past
Even from this life, they're just seeing some of the residue.
Because it's kind of up at the surface before it floats away, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
And some of it is just them reading their own fear.
Right. That's what I thought it might have been.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that I can do or you can do to help me to clear less of that residue so less people will want to accuse me of things that I'm not guilty of while we were at it?
Yes, we can do that right now.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you very, very much. And it's my understanding that as we do healing work and we heal other people, that most of the time, no matter what your modality is, you're going to receive some healing as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any modalities that lend themselves towards the healer themselves getting more healing, or is it about kind of the same across the board?
Well, the new Reiki
Mm-hmm.
and the quantum healing techniques, all of them that call in higher force energies, pure energies, those energies will pass through both of your energy fields and will take out some blockages and some misalignments. So both healer and healed will yes, both people will receive the benefits of that energy.
And that's just like a natural side effect. It doesn't even have to be the intention of it. That's just something that's going to happen, right?
That's correct.
Wow, it's so cool. People, if you're out there, go heal somebody, okay? Get yourself healed, right? Another thing we want to just touch base on here, too. So often I say that all the bad things that happened to you in your life, that you think, why would I ever choose this life or choose these type of things to live through? It all starts making sense when you help somebody that's been in that same situation. So we look at Ursula and the situation she's been through, and we can say that, if you're a former drug addict, then you can help somebody who's on drugs the best.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if you are a former, abuser or abusee, then you can help somebody that's been abused or been abuser the best. Right? It's this is when you're able to help somebody that's going through what you've been through, that is when everything you've been through will suddenly make sense, right?
Yes, and the same energies that are healing you are the same ones that the other one needs as well.
Right. So if you've been working on yourself and you've been getting healing, then you're going to be able to share that energy that you've already received.
And tune into that energy as well, yes.
That's so killer. So killer. God, I'm loving this session. I love you so much, Ursula's higher self. Okay, I think I'm almost done with questions too. Just say, well, no, I do have a bunch of dragon questions I haven't got into yet. How is the body doing? How's she holding up? How are you holding up? Are we doing okay with time?
We're doing fine.
All right, glad to hear that because I am having a great time myself. Okay, so she once saw herself as a vast patchwork quilt of light spread out over the land and the sea. What was that? Mm.
That's me. That's her. That is
Is that grid
our
work?
that's our essence. She was doing some healing work for Gaia. It wasn't Gaia's grid, it was her own grid.
She's spreading out over the whole like Earth, just herself, just little Ursula.
Yeah, she's spread out not only over Earth, she's spread out over other planets too.
Wow, that's super cool. Okay, and this had some kind of a benefit that was lasting and ongoing.
Yes, it was the healing. It was partly the healing of Gaia,
Mhm.
but it was also for Ursula to see
Mhm.
her magnificence because she never believes in that.
Oh, so she could say, "Wow, I did all that," and she can kind of claim that as part of her mastery and her abilities.
Yes.
And she could do that again if she ever wanted to, right? The same thing that she saw there, she could be doing that tomorrow.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, just amazing. Okay. All right, so we want to know about our connection between me and Ursula. Have we ever had a past life together, or more than one?
Yes, you're usually friends.
Okay. And I'm guessing, since she's only been on Earth 15 times, it must have met somewhere else too, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And go ahead.
You were on Sirius.
Sirius?
Sirius, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. When Orion invaded,
Yes.
that was a rough time. Okay. Oh, was I the big lion guy that was in that scene?
Yes.
Get out! Oh, okay. Oh, I was badass on that one. That was cool. Yeah. All right. So, let me get my act together here. Okay. So we have worked together before, and it is good that we are working together this time.
Yes.
Okay. And I've been working on information on the time travel and the quantum explorers group. We're trying to bring us all together as some kind of a super organism where everybody has their own specialization. Like, we can compare it to one person's being a lungs, another one person being a liver. Can you give me any guidance, advice on this topic? Is it a real thing? Are we barking up the wrong tree or the right tree?
It's the right tree. It's very, very important that light workers start forming communities.
Mhm.
It's very important that they recognize their oneness.
Mhm.
The closer they can come to unity,
Mhm.
the more effective they will be for the ascension of the planet, because ultimately it is about becoming one.
Right. Our energies will magnify each other the closer we come. And then
They
also
will.
other people will see this and become inspired by it, or maybe want to join in, right?
Yes, it is a way showing. It is
Mhm.
a pathway to show.
Right.
And yes, your energies magnify each other.
Mhm.
And love magnifies, which is very, very important.
Mhm.
Um, the
That's the way we
more
love each other, is
the
through love.
more you come into union with each other as a group,
Mhm.
the more the love grows
Mhm.
between each of you
Mhm.
in the group, the more love will grow on the planet as a whole.
Mhm.
It's like becoming a lighthouse for the planet.
Mhm. We all live in different places. So if me and Ursula are feeling love between each other right now, And then at the end of the session, she's going to walk out her front door and I'm going to walk out my front door, and we're both going to be seen by totally different people. And that's what really helps it to spread.
There is that, and also there is an interconnecting network of connections between each of the people in the group, and that is like a superhighway of light and love.
Mhm.
And so the more people that connect, the more dense that network, dense not as in
Mhm.
dark dense, but dense as in the more intense is the word, the more intense the light and the love will be, that will spread out over the planet.
And even when you say dense, it's like, you mean like it's solidified, right? It becomes the way things are in the 3D world, like real and tangible.
Yes, it's a little bit like you can sometimes see like phone companies will advertise their phone lines by shooting like rays of light from one side of the country to the other, and you see this vast network crisscrossing the country.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly how the love rays will be between each of the people in these groups. The more that you form a community, the more of those rays that you create around the world, and the more of them that you create, the faster the planet will ascend, the faster it will clean and ascend, and faster the energies will raise.
So we can help the event happen faster through our unity?
Yes.
Woo, that's so cool.
Yes.
All right. What better goal could there possibly be?
Yes.
That really gets me excited. We also feel like the time travel is a way to do this, because we're clearing up kind of lies or mistaken ideas about the history of the planet Earth. And when we bring the real truth forward, this is going to wake up a lot of people in its own right. Is that right?
Yes, it should.
Okay.
People need to expand their awareness, and they have been controlled through the educational systems to believe the story that best suits keeping them under control. So the more surprising the truths that are revealed, the more likely you are to kind of break through
Right, kind of just like really shake somebody up and get them to thinking.
Yes.
And then they're going to go down their own road of self-discovery once they've kind of like, kind of been knocked out of it a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, so cool. Okay, man, oh man, you got me thinking on a whole bunch of other things here too. I just want to just touch base on the body scan. Was there anything else interesting in there that she would want to know that kind of got worked on or healed or improved?
She went through a very beautiful initiation yesterday. She went to the Temple of Truth. She has incredibly pure white energy flowing through her.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's going to go ahead.
Oh yes, that's definitely intensifying day by day.
All right. And that goes in line with the all the crystals that are in her field as well?
Oh yes.
Okay. And as far as her role in our group of time travelers and whatnot, is there, I want to send in like, like 5 people at a time, and everybody has their own specialty. What would her specialty be within the context of that type of a group?
She holds energy fields. She will provide the stability.
Oh, so that'll make it easier for me to send in people as a group.
Yes.
And it'll also make it less important that everybody's vibrating at the same wavelength, huh? Because she can kind of bridge the gap.
She can bridge the gap.
Oh, this is wonderful.
She's she's a high energy being.
Mm-hmm. Which also means that she'll get us access into places that maybe not everybody would be allowed. I ask good questions, huh?
She could probably get you access to where you wouldn't otherwise get, yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you. And I just want to make sure that I understand this part right, because the way I've heard it in the past was everybody has to kind of be the same vibration if I want to send them all to the same place. But when I have Ursula with us, then that's not as important. We can overcome it to a certain extent. Right?
She could stabilize, yeah, she could stabilize the energy fields a bit. Yes.
All right. Okay. And can you also tell me about, in terms of the proper trance state, we sometimes worry about, are people deep enough to get the amount of healing they need or to be sent to certain places? Do you have anything that you can, any advice that you can give me as far as the proper trance state? The level of depth that's needed for different things.
You want to know, you can monitor the breathing.
Okay.
The breathing should be very slow and steady.
Okay.
You can also monitor the depth of relaxation in the body as well.
Okay. But deeper is better, generally speaking?
You have to be careful you don't take them too deep, because then they can't access the, like if you want information to come from it,
Mm-hmm.
they have to access the vocal cords, and if you take them too deep, they won't be able to
Interesting. So
work the
that's kind of the
body.
way I can know is if we're too deep, is if they're trying to talk and it's not working.
Correct.
Okay. And as far as a easy way to modulate that, it seems like a lot of times, whenever I get to somebody's higher self, the higher self will just take them, boom, right to the right spot automatically, right? So could I call upon higher selves to bring people to the proper state, whether it be less deep or more deep? Would you think that'd be the way to do it?
You should always call our higher selves anyway.
You know, it's funny that you say that too, because sometimes I feel like I don't want to bother them or something, even though I know you couldn't.
Their higher self is in control of every aspect of their
Right,
life, and
right.
if you are deliberately excluding the higher self, you're actually not doing what you're supposed to be doing. The higher self
Yeah.
should be there, and they should be in charge always.
Wow.
You don't take it from the higher self. The higher self has to be in charge.
Okay, okay. That's I'm glad you cleared that up for me.
Yes.
So what happens sometimes where we're unable to get somebody into an acceptable level of trance for the healing that we want to do? Is that okay? Well, like, how about me as an example? I am very hard to hypnotize. Why is that? Is that my higher self blocking me? Is it me blocking me? What's happening there?
It's not your higher self. Your higher self will take you into any state you want to go into.
Mhm.
It's your own resistance. It's your own fear. It might be from your time as a salesman. You wanted to. Please take this in the right vein. You like to pull the wool over somebody else's eyes. So you're scared that other people are pulling the wool over your eyes too.
Sure, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, because we always project ourselves on everybody else, just like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, and I used to like to be in control.
Exactly. And you're still trying to retain that control, but it's not the. Here's what you need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You never give away control when you're hypnotized. You are fully in charge of the experience.
Yeah.
All you do is give yourself permission to follow the person who's leading you. So you should learn to trust. Don't you let somebody hypnotize you if you do not trust them.
Yeah.
But once you do decide that you're willing to be hypnotized by that person, if you've developed trust.
Mm-hmm.
Start trusting, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't it's not an exercise anymore. Let it go, let it all go, and let that person take charge, because they're not taking charge. All they're doing is guiding you.
Right. That's why it's called a suggestion and not an order, right?
That is why, yes, and all they're doing is literally taking away all your worries and your fears and all the things that try to pull you into everyday 3D conscious living. They're just removing those temporarily so that you can get beyond them into your pure essence. So not their pure essence, but your pure essence. Obviously they cannot do this with you unless they themselves are coming into pure essence. But it's you getting to your own pure essence, and your own pure essence is love. So you can trust that you're not going to be anything frightening or being asked to do anything that's against your will or that will diminish you in any way, because what you're actually doing is getting to pure love. And pure love cannot harm you. It's impossible. You're asking for the impossible. So just allow yourself to let go and to trust. Because all that can happen is that you will meet the most wonderful side of yourself.
Sounds fun. So if I'm trying to develop a system that would work on like kind of the quote unquote the hard to hypnotize people, then I'm trying to make an induction that'll work for that type of situation. I'm going to emphasize trust. I'm going to emphasize pure love. And I'm going to ask the higher self to help me within that induction. Does that seem like a good way to go?
Yes. And concentrate more on, take them into a peaceful scene. Just take them into a peaceful scene. Leave the body alone. Don't crunch up muscles and try to make them crunch up and relax.
Yeah.
That's distracting.
Okay.
It actually pulls them back into their body instead of into away from their body. So don't take that path.
Okay.
Take them from the outset. From the outset, call in the higher self. From the outset, call in the angels. Call in the dragons. We are pure love. We will create a field of love around you and around the person that you are hypnotizing. We will create that field for you. And then take them into a place of calmness. It doesn't matter if you take them to a beach or to a meadow or forest path. Just take them somewhere where they will feel at peace, somewhere they can relate to, that they will feel at peace.
We always
And
like to your sacred place. That's a good idea, right? Everybody has their own sacred spot that they like to go to in their mind.
yes, that definitely can work, but you don't have to put the onus on them by telling them to take them to their safe place, because then they start searching their mind, wondering what's their safe place.
Yeah.
Give them a safe place. Give them a target. So take them to the
likes a beach.
meadow.
Everybody likes a forest, so it doesn't matter. I don't need to make them expend the energy to come up with that themselves. I can provide it.
Exactly.
Oh God, so good.
And here's something that might help.
More, yes, please.
When you bring them to this safe, sacred place, to this place of calmness, bring in colors.
Colors.
colors. So for example, you might want, if you take them to a beach, you might explain to them that this beach has orange sand and
blue
pink
wave.
sand and yellow sand, green sand, different colors of sand,
Mhm.
and let them travel through each color. Let them take a journey through the colors and absorb the energy of the colors. Because in the process of traveling through these colors,
Mhm.
they will actually get different kinds of healing
Mm.
in that journey.
Mhm.
And as they engage with it more, they will just naturally slip into the most helpful
State.
state that they need to be in. That's right.
Oh my gosh. Oh, got it. This is so great. So let me ask you this then. I always did the thing where I would bring in some kind of like galactic energies through the crown, anchored into the heart. Then I would bring in some energies from Gaia up through the feet, anchored into the heart, and then I would shoot up a rainbow around that. How do you feel about that part? Keep that in or get rid of it?
Keep that in. In fact, you can definitely incorporate that as part of the journey through colors.
That's what I was thinking. So then we would say, now that this rainbow is out there, you notice the blue, and you can feel the energy and the frequency of the blue. And now you
Right.
feel the energy and the frequency of the green.
Yes.
The green represents the heart and the love, and the yellow represents whatever yellow represents, that type of a thing.
Yes.
Okay, and then we can tie that into maybe the chakras too, the type of healing that you would get in each individual chakra, right? Because uh, we know that if the red chakra is blocked, then that leads to certain problems. So then we can unblock that red chakra in this process and fix those types of problems via that frequency of that opened color of red.
Okay. I would ask you not to take the chakras into this because
Okay.
as as we are as people are ascending,
Mhm.
the chakra system is changing too,
Mm.
and the colors that are associated with the chakras are changing.
Ooh, wow. Interesting. Is there anything you want to tell us about that today? I've been hearing it's going to all white.
Well, the colors are becoming very, very pale pastel colors like opalescent pink
Mhm.
and very pale sky blues and things like those kind of colors. And ultimately, white light is the union of all of the colors.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you, in fact, here's the thing, because of the changing, it's good to bring in all the different colors, keep bringing in the rainbow energy because that's really good.
Okay.
And instead of actually making them concentrate on blues and greens and reds and
Mhm.
oranges and so on,
Just
help
take the
them to
rainbow out.
see the gold,
Gold.
platinum,
Mhm.
and diamond frequencies in the rainbows
That you normally wouldn't see in a rainbow.
that you wouldn't normally see these in a rainbow, but these are the energies and colors that are being sent to earth at this time.
Mhm.
And if you can imagine these gold flecks, platinum flecks, diamonds,
Mhm.
lights, diamond plasma, liquid light coming through the system, it will directly attune you to the ascension energies which are coming through. We are no longer working with a 7 chakra system. We have a 12 chakra system that we work with. The 12 chakra system is not the total number of chakras that are available. They are the number that they are the main number of chakras that we work with at this time in this ascension process. So we have the chakra above the head, the
soul crown, soul star chakra, I think is what
soul star chakra, exactly. We have the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat, the thymus chakra, or the high heart as some call it, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the hara, which is behind the navel, the sacral chakra, base chakra, the link chakra at the knees, and the earth star chakra below the feet. These are only some of the chakras. There are others above and below, especially above, because once you get beyond the soul star chakra, then you have the akashic fields and so on and so forth, and the universal chakras and so on. So they're different, and those you don't need to worry about for the sake of quantum sessions, healing sessions.
Right. But as far as I'm not going to talk about the chakras at all. You're just telling me this for my knowledge, really.
This is for your knowledge. So, okay. But if you start talking about the 7 chakras, you might confuse their
natural internal knowing.
Exactly, because they know there's a 12 chakra system, and you're talking about the old system when they know there's a new system and have been developing and working with the new system.
Oh my God, that's so good. If I'm saying to bring in the gold, we'll look at the rainbow. Then we're gonna bring in the gold, the platinum, and the diamond plasma, liquid light, to attune them to ascension energies, and then that will allow us to better bring in angels, dragon, and the higher self. And from there, I can go to the state I want to go, because those beings can help me get there.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. God, I love you so much. How's the body holding up? How are you holding up? Are we doing okay? Because I'm having a great time.
Yes, we're fine.
All right. Thank you so much. Boy, I got a bunch of other things I want to talk about now. We talk about people that are doing grid work. We talk about things of, I've heard of various energies, ghosts, and even dragons that are trapped for various reasons. And so I want to talk about releasing things that you may not know are around you through the intent of just saying, hey, wherever I go, I want to heal the earth, right? Or I want to release whatever's around me. Is that kind of a good idea? Is that something that I can do, that everybody could do?
Yes, one of the things that you can do is make the intention every day that every footstep that you take will leave a pillar of light behind it.
Okay.
So that everybody and everything that passes through that pillar of light as the day progresses will be healed.
Everywhere I step, I leave a pillar of light, and everything that walks through that pillar of light will be healed.
Yes. So the earth will be healed, but so too will every just random passerby.
If it's a cat or a dog or a cockroach, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Wow. Holy moly, that's so good. Okay, well, I guess that answered all that question there. And then that way, if any ghosts come by, they're going to be released. If any trapped dragons come by, they're going to be released, right?
Yes.
Is there even more that we can do towards releasing that type of those things seem pretty darn trapped. It seems that almost seems too easy.
Some need more work. Some need more releasing of the fields in the area where they are trapped. And there are people who do that work specifically.
You kind of got to know what you're doing at that point. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You need a team working with them sometimes. That's not
right.
It's not necessarily something you want to tackle just haphazardly walking about your daily business.
Okay. But this part that you just told me about leaving a pillar of light everywhere you go, that's something that everyone can do, and there's not going to be danger or harm. No bad that can happen from that.
Absolutely no harm at all to anybody.
All right, so let's talk about a couple other interesting subjects. I still haven't even gotten into any of my dragon questions, but I don't think I need to answer those anyway. First, what can you tell me about using quantum healing as a method to bring about reverse aging? I would like to make people's, the gray hairs go away, or grow back my hair, or get rid of wrinkles, things like that, for people that want to do it. Is it appropriate? Is it okay? And how?
Mainly you need to get past belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask for assistance to remove
Mm-hmm.
the old beliefs of aging.
Mm-hmm.
And you can implant the idea
Mm-hmm. Now that that's gone, we're going to fill that space up with a better thought. And the new better thought is you can actually reverse age.
not only can you reverse age, but just by having taken part in this quantum session,
Mm-hmm.
the energies that have passed through your system have renewed your DNA. They have
Yeah, because the telomeres, right?
lengthened the telomeres, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so your whole system has now gone back to what it was 10 years before or 20 years before.
Number we want. And this would be like, it would happen instantly then. They would like wake up the next day and it would be done. Not like something you're going to have to wait 6 months for, if done right.
If done correctly, it could be instant.
Holy shit. Excuse me. Excuse my language. Wow, that's mind-blowing stuff. I love it. Okay, and then so the other thing that is kind of near and dear to my heart lately is one of my friends wanted me to help her kids with like test taking, remembering information and things like this. And so having like a super memory, I'm thinking the best way to approach that would be to, assuming the child was old enough and able to be worked with, I would think you would want to make them just an Akashic record reader, right? Wouldn't that be the easiest way to do it? Then they don't have to study, they don't have to remember, they can just access the information.
If they access the information in their cache, they're going to get truth.
That's a problem, huh?
They should access the information in their cache to get truth. Everybody should do that. But it's not going to help them with tests in school because school systems do not teach truth. They just teach distorted information.
But you could access the Akashic record to find out how the teacher was grading the tests the next day, right? If number 1 is A and number 2 is C, you could do that with the Akashic records, I would think. Right? What question is this teacher, what answer is this teacher looking for? That's going to be in the record, right? You just have to ask properly. I told you I was a good question asker.
That's a possibility. It's assuming that the teachers actually created a marking scheme already.
Right. Well, because they know what answers they want.
I know.
Before they,
Yes.
I mean, when they make the test, they know what they want. They know what 100% looks like, and they know what 50% looks like.
You can also tell the child to take a photograph of in the head of the page of the book, and they can read the page of the book when they're in the test.
Oh, I like that. Okay. And
Ursula used to do it.
what's that?
Ursula used to do it.
Oh, really? Interesting.
She used to just say, "Well, I need to know this tomorrow. I can't read and memorize all of this." So she just used to take a photograph in her mind of the picture of the page, and then when she was taking the exam, she would read the page and write what it said.
Okay. So then, so a more efficient way to do this then would be just kind of give everybody a photographic memory with 100% recall that can be accessed at will without needing to be any kind of a trance or anything.
Yes, exactly, because you can't sit a test in trance. Well, you can, but you'd probably get picked up by your teacher very quickly. and you
Oh,
wouldn't get.
I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about distractions around you. But yeah, like somebody would be looking at you and be like, "Oh, you're on drugs or something, right?"
Yeah, exactly. You probably wouldn't stay in the exam hall for very long.
Okay, I think I like that method better than going to the Akashic records then, because this will give people the answers that are actually being looked for, and then they can learn. They'll become a super learner that way, anyways. So when it is time for them to go learn things that they're actually interested in, they'll be better suited for that as well.
Yes.
My only concern is that I hear sometimes that there's kind of a limit to how much information you can have clunking around your brain. It'll start to confuse you in your daily life, especially if you're learning, if you're doing things like, for instance, let's say that somebody goes to, they open their book and they want to memorize all the pages in the book, and then they go play a video game and they absorb all this information from that. Right? And now they're kind of competing with each other. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Ursula used to get up and upset about that kind of thing. When she was at college, she said she's not going to use memorization anymore because it just took up too much memory. So she used principles. She always looked at to see what the main principle was behind it, understood the principle, and then she could reproduce anything she wanted.
So instead of memorizing page number 72, we're going to memorize the underlying principle behind that page. But the problem is this, they're going to say, when did Columbus sail the ocean blue?
And that, of course, is pure memorization. That's useless information, but
I know, it's all useless though. They got 18 years of useless crap. They got to fill their heads with.
I know.
So now I'm back to the Akashic records, because you don't have to fill your brain with a bunch of crap that you don't need.
Yes, but you can use principles in science and mathematics, those kind of subjects. Geography, not necessarily locations, but weather patterns and rock formations and all the rest of it. You can use principles for that instead of trying to memorize it. And so if you do that, you free up the amount of memory that has to be used for dates and things like that.
Right. So what would happen is if we focus on the people understanding principles and memorizing principles, then when there's other things where they do just have to memorize kind of meaningless stuff, they're going to have brain space to do it. It'll be very easy for them.
Yes.
And we'll just let them kind of be on their own for that part.
Yes, see, principles don't need to be memorized. Mm-hmm. Principles are understanding.
Learn. Right.
And so once you understand how something works, it takes you a matter of seconds to construct whatever's going on in this setup. So, if somebody starts asking you about bringing two magnets together, and you can see that the fields there's a field of energy that goes from north to south, and you see two magnets coming together north to north, and you see both of them pushing towards their south, you'll see them pushing each other away. Mm-hmm. However, if you brought a north to south close to each other, you will see north fields heading towards the south. They will pull directly towards each other, and so they will be attracted. And if you see the principle, you will also see the results. And that's not a case of memorization. It's just a case of understanding. You can see the field. You can understand what's going to happen. You don't need to memorize that like repels like and dislike attracts. You can actually literally see it in your head because you see the principle underneath it.
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're actually making somebody smart, kind of quote unquote smart, not just knowledgeable, right? Because like we talk about kind of the difference between
right. So you can then take those principles and you can invent, you can do research, you can discover new things because you understand what's happening. It's not just random Columbus sailed the ocean blue in whatever 142 whatever it happens to be. It's not that. It's just you see how it works, and then you can build from it.
So what kind of a suggestion would I use to a hypnotized child? So I'm going to say you will understand principles.
Yes, you will understand how it works, why it works
Okay. Okay.
the way it does.
Mhm.
The thing with that too, of course, is you will, if you get somebody to really understand how everything works, they could still end up with knowledge that is not taught in the schools. But whether it's taught in schools or not, this is knowledge that they can literally use
Right. They're
to,
gonna get out of school and make something out of themselves
right,
because they have actual, true, useful knowledge.
precisely.
Oh, God, I love this. I'm having so much fun. Okay. Let's go to a slightly different topic. I want to find a giant skeleton around me somewhere, like physical evidence that a session like this can do more things than people think, wake people up that way. Can you give me any guidance? Something I can actually get to that isn't 1,000 feet up or 1,000 feet down, that Kelly White can find out in his neck of the woods?
I can see it, but I can't tell you where that is.
God, I gotta get me a map maker. I need a coordinates person. Everybody has all these other metaphysical skills. I cannot find a coordinates person. Somebody out there watching this video today, I know you love maps and cartography and you do it for fun and you're good with longitudes and latitudes. Come see Kelly, please.
I can actually see it. I can see it not very far below the surface. I can see wild flowers above it.
Okay.
Like scrub kind of flowers, not
Okay. Are they the orange poppies? No, more like
no.
weeds.
Like weeds, like yeah, wildflowers. So it's like the ground is
Is it sandy?
sandy, yeah, sandy.
Because I live in a desert area.
And I can actually I can see a hill not very far from it.
Oh my God, this is like right by me. Any other landmark? Is there a power station? Some windmill? Prison? I don't. School? Anything? Is it just wide open, flat ground? Is it near a road?
It's kind of like, yeah, there is a road near it, but it's kind of like uneven ground. It's sandy, but it's like clumps of flowers just kind of holding it together. So it keeps it in a kind of.
So this giant is not in a gray like a coffin or anything. It's just loose bones in the dirt.
It's just loose bones, yeah.
But they're not very far under the ground, like say 2 feet, 3 feet, 1 feet, something like that.
My impression, it's so close to the surface.
Oh my God. You see any teeth lying around at the top? Somebody told me I was going to see teeth. I know it's stupid, but they were like, when you find some teeth, Kelvin, you're going to know you're there. But I don't know if it's the same giant we're talking about.
No, I don't see. I see the bones, but I don't see the skull. Actually, strangely enough.
Oh, boo! The skull's the best part.
Yeah.
How
No,
tall
I see like the rib cage, and I see the rib cage and some of the arm bones, I think.
Okay. Well, these things deteriorate over time, but do you feel like maybe the skull has just kind of been drug off a little bit of ways from there? Maybe.
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, like some critter came and just kind of walked a few hundred yards off with it or something like that.
No, there's the bottom half of the skeleton's missing too.
Okay. Okay.
It could be that somebody took part of the skeleton. I mean, the body was
Like
broken into
down.
pieces. Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine that this thing, if it was entire, would be about 20 feet.
Oh my God, that's just what I want. No, that's perfect. And I just wish it was a full skeleton, but
It's not complete, this one.
Okay, so first of all, can you take a picture of this and see if you can draw it a little bit? Second of all, can you look at my house? Do you see my house? Like say you're in the air here and you're above my house. There's a tree in the front yard. It's a cul-de-sac. Do you see that?
I think so. Not
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So the question is, how far away are we from the giant right now? Is it 100 yards? Is it a mile? Is it 10 miles?
5 to 10 miles.
5 to 10 miles.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna find that. Mm, I'm trying to ask, I never ask the right questions on these two. I always like wake up the next day and I go, if I had just asked this question, there's got to be a landmark near it. There's got to be some way that something that I will see.
I can see a road. Hang on, let me see if I can see anything better than that.
Yeah, ask for clarity. Look from all angles. I mean, in a way, if it's just road and nothing else, that kind of tells us something a little bit too.
I can see a road with telephone poles and wires,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see buildings or anything.
Okay. So let's just set an intention that maybe a little more information may come to you in dreams, or over time you may get a flash of insight. And if you do, you can certainly talk to me and tell me about it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I really appreciate the help so far, and I'm going to keep my eyes open, though I don't know what I'm going to be looking for. But let's go, and we're going to ask you some of our generic giant questions. I feel like I'm almost done here, but just a minute. Let's see if any of these seem fun to ask. Okay, so we're talking about dragons because it's Dragon Week. And we have been talking with Ursula's higher self, which happens to be a dragon. And you live on primarily, you call the 18th dimension home, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's also the same place that a lot of the other mythical creatures call home too, right? Like fairies and gnomes and elves and things like that?
Not on the 18th.
Right. Oh, that's angels that are there, huh?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. And this is the reason that dragons are invisible to us, is because they are typically on a different dimension from us, right?
They are. Dragons can travel between dimensions, and they can travel to different dimensions, and they can travel between dimensions.
Okay. But they typically tend to stay around Earth, right? They don't go to other planets so much.
No, they go to other planets too.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Can you tell me, this is one we stumped the last dragon on, maybe you'll know the answer, maybe you won't. How are souls created? I always joke, is there a soul factory somewhere? Does God just like pull off one of his hairs and that's a soul? Like, how does a soul get created?
God breathes.
Okay, so it's just an intention. I'm going to make
Yes.
sense today. Okay. All right, and just a moment here. What can you tell me about the true nature of gravity? I've heard that we have that concept all wrong. Is there anything you can do to help clear that up a little bit and get us on the right track with it? It's not a field that's pulling things down, right? It's more like positive and negative charges and the way they attract and don't attract.
It's more like a magnetic field in the way that they attract and don't attract. Is it like a actually electric charges and magnetic fields are fairly similar.
Right, right. We hear about the electric universe theory. A lot of people have been into that, and as opposed to gravity. Would you say that they're a little closer to being on the right track?
All is light, so yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Light is electromagnetic fields.
Mhm. That makes sense. And right, because it never made sense to me. Like they would say, like gravity makes an apple fall down to Earth, but somehow it doesn't make the moon fall down too. Like, like it just never made sense to me.
Yeah, but that's the explanation that they always give for that is there is a field of attraction between the moon and the Earth too, and between any two objects, and including two bodies. This is the explanation that's given. But the movement, the actual movement of the planet, keeps it in a certain orbit. Like if the planet was to move a little bit slower, it would fall to the Earth. If it was to move a little bit faster, it would shoot off into outer space.
Oh, yeah.
But it happens to be moving at just the right speed, which works for the orbit that it's taking, and the centripetal force
But
keeps it.
that's wrong, right? That's
But
not.
that's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, I feel like there has to be. It's more of a situation where there's a certain amount of attraction between them and a certain amount of repulsion between them, and then it balances out. Like there's a push and a pull.
Yes, and between all the planets, like every one of them is contributing to the field.
Okay. Perfect. All right. We'll ask a couple more questions here. Is there dragons travel so easily between dimensions? Is there any help that you could give the average human from Earth that wanted to travel between dimensions? Make it easier for them?
It's about raising your vibration.
Okay.
You can use the Stargate.
Well, what Stargate? Like in the sun?
You can use the Sun Stargate, but you can also ask for a Stargate to be placed above you.
Ask for a Stargate to be placed above you, and then like maybe like your higher self would provide that, and then you would just have the intention
Yes.
that
You
Stargate
ask
to take
you
you.
ask for the Stargate to be placed above you,
Mhm.
and then you ask it to activate, and it will create a field around you, and then you could literally go up like an elevator.
And you would maybe do this like in a trance or in a meditative state, I would guess.
Yes.
Wow, super cool. Super cool. All right, let's see if there's anything else here. Dragons, they don't need to breathe. They don't have any weaknesses. There's nothing that can harm, really kill a dragon unless it wants to be, right?
Dragons are eternal.
That's what I thought. But there are still new baby dragons being born once in a while now, right?
You are asking, is there change?
Well, for instance, there's more people being born every day. There's no more souls being created every day. All the people have guardian dragons, right? Or most of them. So that would mean that
Most people have dragons, yes.
so that would mean that as our population is growing, the dragon population would have to be growing too, right?
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
the dragon can handle more than one person.
Absolutely. They're
Right,
just like angels. They can be in many, many places at once.
right.
They have no problem being wherever they need to be individually with each person and not neglect anything.
Is the angelic population growing?
No.
Okay, just checking. No,
Well, you're ask
like
you're asking, is God creating new beings all the time? And the answer, of course, is yes. And the answer is no. And why is it both? Because there is flux, yes, there's always flux, but ultimately there's
so
always only
recycling
one.
is what you're saying. Like things are coming and going. It's like a cycle,
There's only one.
right?
So you can today see 10 million and tomorrow see one, and today see tomorrow, the next day see 10 million and the next day see one. Because there is only one. It expands and it contracts and it expands. It's like breathing. It's breathing. God breathes.
There you go. Okay. Okay, I like that.
Yes.
Hey, and by the way, why did Source make everything anyways? I mean, well, like, was it bored and lonely? Did it do it by accident? Was it trying to learn something? Why?
Fun.
For fun? Something to do?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, does Source ever get like? I always felt like if I was the only one of something, I might be a little lonely. Like Source doesn't have any other Source friends out there, right? It's just him and whatever he creates and however it evolves.
And there is source and there is nothing. And nothing is source. And source is nothing. And source is everything.
So does Source ever get bored or lonely because the kid didn't have anybody that it can talk to on its level?
Which is this breathing in and breathing out.
Mhm.
And the grand adventure is played with each in-breath and each out-breath.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay. For the dragons, do there's males and females with the dragons, right?
No.
No. Okay.
Dragons are unisex. They're neither male nor female.
Okay. All right. I mean,
They
so
can present as male or female if that makes people happy.
right on a given day. So it's the same thing. One day I could look at a dragon as male. One day I look at it as female. One day it's one dragon. The next day it's 10 dragons. It's all the same dragon all along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so there is no lifespan to dragons either. They never die.
They're eternal.
Okay. Perfect. And the other thing that I've heard about the dragons is that there's never a circumstance where they are closed off from source like people are here on Earth.
Dragons are love.
Oh, so
Dragons are God's love.
right.
If you wanted to say, this is why angels and dragons are the same. God is love. How does he manifest so that we can see him? Angels and dragons. God is love. God is. Love is.
That's super cool. Okay. All right. And okay, man, I think I have just gone through so much. I really appreciate your patience and your wonderful answers. Your ability to keep Ursula in such a great state for so long. Is there any other message that you would like to give to me or Ursula or anybody that might be watching this video somewhere down in the future before we let you go? Final message?
All is love.
Hmm.
We are one.
Hmm. All right, thank you very much. I would like to thank Ursula's higher self and the dragon, sir, and everybody that came forward to help with this incredibly illuminating session today. I would like to ask that you all go back to your normal place of residence with much love and respect and gratitude. Wide awake. Wide awake. Holy shit.
Mm.
How
God.
much of that do you remember?
Jeez. Oh. I don't know yet.
It was a lot.
Oh my God.
I
Oh my
mean,
God.
like, okay, you came in a little bit early because I sent you an invite because I just wanted to have it there early. And the second I sent it to you, you went bam and replied, right? So I would say like,
Right?
yeah, okay, just making sure you can hear me. So I say me and you kind of got together around 8:30 or so my time. It's now 1 o'clock. Epic. You look pale though. Oh, there's some color coming back to your skin now. How do you feel? You feel okay? Are you dizzy?
Can I just have a quick break? One quick break, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a break too.
Thank you.
Oh man. Wow.
That was
Yeah, that was
session.
that was the last of your insecurities and negative belief systems exiting your system there.
Oh, I think so.
Yes, we
That's
did a
for
lot.
sure. That's
We
true,
did have
actually.
a lot to purge after
That was
everything. Got a lot of
amazing.
healing.
Whoa. I
You know,
am still slightly dizzy, but
yeah. Try to take it easy, and I'll try not to ask too many tricky questions or anything too, because I know sometimes people have a hard time thinking when they're that deep under for that long. We,
oh,
any professional would have said you can't go that long on a session, Kelly. But I kept asking higher stuff. I was like, "How's she doing? How are you doing?" They're like, "I can do it, dude." I mean, it was just like we're on such a roll. Like it was just like bam, 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 and you know how I am, right? I go off on a tangent just so easily, right? Like, oh wait, let's dig into that a little bit, And so I mean, it just made it so much longer than it needed to be. But
yeah.
just pure gold from start to finish. I just want to tease you for like thinking, well, I don't know, Kel, if I'm going to be able to do very good.
I was worried that there was no way I could just connect with the dragon just because I wanted to do that,
Well, you got your boy guiding you though. That's my job.
That's your job, that's right.
Right? You just come in with a good attitude and feel like, hey, do whatever you want, Kel. Let's give it a shot, right? You trust, and that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Man, we learned stuff about hypnosis. We learned about super learning and getting kids through school with straight A's, or getting shitty grades and coming out and being a master inventor. Right? Like different ways to do it. I've already had 2 other interviews with dragons this week. Sounds so weird to say that, but dragons are kind of old hat to me, right? But anyways, so I kind of asked most of the kind of dragon questions.
Yeah.
So honestly, for it to have just gone down that road and had me just ask all the same questions I've already asked and get all the same answers again, it would have been cool from a validation type of sense that, hey, look, no matter who I ask that's in the same level of training, we get the same answers. But it would have bored the hell out of me, like compared to what we did, which is like, I mean, when I send you this video, there's probably 5 different times where I'm just like, what? Like what? Right? Mind blown, and we didn't really go anywhere. Like, he had one little teeny baby past life. I would say you said you were in Lebanon in the 1100s, and that was evidently the first time you got run over. So that's why we went there, and to clear that.
That's
I
funny.
also found out that you've only had about 15 lives on Earth. Me and you have been friends pretty much every time, and back on Sirius.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the big lion, dude. I was all fucking tripping on that. But anyways, I should have known too. I always kind of felt that as soon as they said it, I just be like, oh, I know who you're talking about. Like, because you told me after the session. It wasn't during the session. It was after the session. You're like, I'm just standing there, and this big dude comes up and says, come on, let's go. Right? And we just went into the battle, right? Remember that?
That's right. That's right. Exactly what happened. Yes.
So
That's
anyways,
exactly what happened.
so that was on Sirius, but anyways, what they said is that most of the times you were on Earth, you were a healer, which we know how that usually ends for people. You get burned, tortured, offered up to other gods as a sacrifice, just terrible, terrible shit. But and this is why you tend to get accused of things that weren't necessarily having to do with you. It's just this kind of little sort of a residual energy you carry over from all the times you've been accused of stuff, and probably some of those people might even been your accusers in those past lives, right? For all we know, right?
Quite possible. That's very possible, to be quite honest.
Right. So they're just playing out a cycle unknowingly. But whatever the answer is, it definitely has to do with residual energies. And I asked, well, why is this suddenly happening to me? Because it's only been the last couple, 3 months. Like back when I was like, the worst guy that I've ever been. I mean, I don't want to say I was ever a bad guy, but like the worst I was ever been. Nobody said shit about me. I know it, even like when you would have had a leg to stand on. Nobody said, "Oh, you're right." And then so now here I am where I'm like this. Me and Bo were joking last night, right? We were talking about that picture, and I said, well, people are going to see what they want to see, and I said, Bo, I've got this demon in me. It's the one that makes me give money to every homeless person I see. It makes me not eat meat anymore. It makes me exercise every day. So I guess those are the worst ones to have, right? It made me quit smoking and it made me quit drinking. This fucking demon, man. And Bo's like, oh shit, I got the same one, right? And by the way, he has quit smoking since your guys' session. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's been like 5 days now, and
that's incredible. That's a result.
It was one of the things he wanted to do. That was part of the mission of the session, and even though he's like maybe a little edgy, right, right, but he says, I know I'm done. I know I'm done for good.
That's amazing.
Yep, and I told him that. So I had smoked for like 30 years, right? And I swear to God, my goal in life was to get to be. Just a minute. Thanks, Jesus. Okay, so my goal in life was to get to this point where I was so healthy that it didn't matter if I smoked. Right? like that's what I want. I want to be able to have everything else, but I was going to smoke till I was 95 or something, right? And then just one day, I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm over it, right? Hadn't been thinking about doing it, nothing like this. And I remember seeing a session where somebody had been saying, why did I suddenly become able to do this? Like I never wanted to, right? And they said, well, because you have the willpower of like 100 guys behind you right now, right? You've got the willpower of all these angels, you got the willpower of these dragons, you got the willpowers of the fairies, you got the willpowers, right? All these willpowers are with you in this. And so I said that to Bo, and he was like, no, that's exactly, you're right. He goes, because I know I'm done. Like I'm not even worried about it. Like, whether I like it or don't like it.
He had Imogen behind him. Imogen seemed to be determined that he was not going to smoke anymore.
Oh, so that was Imogen in the picture then?
There's a possibility, you never know, because she said like she's with him all the time, and she's like, I'm the person who's putting your dislike of smoking into you.
I don't know if you experienced it so much with the BQH, but with my old modality I used to do, I would find that people would get worked on starting about 2 weeks before their session.
Yeah.
Right. And as you see running that, people are like, okay, yeah. I remember one time, like I was having one with my mom, and she calls me up like 2 days before the session. She's like, dude, call off your dogs, man. Like tell those guys to quit. And I was like, sorry, Mom, they don't do what I tell them to do, right? They do whatever serves the highest good. Now, if you want them to stop, you can ask them to, but they're probably doing something that serves your highest good. So be careful what you ask for. She's like, fine, right? I'll deal with it, right? Only another 3 days. But she was getting images and visions and hearing stuff and all kinds of crazy things. So that was funny. But and I asked about we always hear that as a healer, whenever you heal somebody, you get healing as well, right? And so I said, is that more or less true for certain modalities? And I usually expect to get kind of a vague answer or something like this, like, hey, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It doesn't do that one. You know what I mean? But I still ask because me. But and they said, yeah, actually, anything where you are kind of channeling or calling in higher energies, angels, source, and whatnot, those are always going to be the ones where it's going to flow through you, go to the other person, and so you're just naturally going to get unblocking, things like that as a side effect. So Reiki and quantum healing modalities for sure are the ones that you're very likely to get the most healing for yourself. So that's kind of cool, huh?
It's cool.
Yeah. Let me just hear. I'll just see if there's any other couple interesting. Is there any part that stuck out to you that you thought was really interesting? You're probably a little overwhelmed right now, huh?
I haven't even had time to digest it as such, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna take a while for it all to sink in.
Yeah, it kind of passes through. You know, you're kind of aware of it, but somehow also not aware of it. It's weird. It's a strange place to be in.
I feel like, honestly, and here I am. I'm I'll say a pro at this, but anyways, I've done a lot of sessions in my view at this point in a very short amount of time. I'm not in a trance, and I still, and this is all stuff that's easy for me to wrap my mind around. Because that's what I really wanted to say. These are concepts that I feel familiar and close with, and shouldn't less mind blowing to me than a lot of other people.
Right.
And I still was having this feeling all throughout this thing. Like, I'm gonna have to watch that thing like 3 times. I'm gonna have to watch that thing like 4 times. Like, literally, I'm going to digest everything that was in it. I am just gonna. And if it takes me that many, I don't know how many it's gonna take other people, but you know, they'll probably just watch it once and be good with it. But that's okay, because I'll keep making more videos, so it's okay, guys. But you know, for me to, as somebody that wants to you know, quantum travel and be able to hypnotize everybody every time. Oh, they gave me some great advice on hypnosis too. You want to hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Did we already talk about it? I can't remember. Okay, so just a minute here. So first of all, on the reverse aging, it's we ask for assistance to remove old beliefs, and then we're gonna implant. So you know how they always do this thing where it's like they remove something, you get all your black shit out of the body with you and go, and then we're gonna fill that area with light so that, you know, something new doesn't want to move in there, right? This is basically what we're gonna do with the reverse aging. And you know, we obviously, this is something that a person has to be into, right? Because some people are very want to age, right? So it would be something that somebody would have to agree to as before the session. You say, hey, by the way, do you want to take part in reverse aging, right? Or they have to come to you asking for it, type of thing. But you wouldn't just do this to anyone, okay?
Yeah, because you're not really supposed to implant ideas into people's heads, really, unless they want them.
It's a little bit against nature in a way, unless they're on board. Then it's not.
Right.
Okay, now, so that's what we thought it was against nature, but as long as somebody's on board and into that kind of thing and wants to experiment with it and try it, for sure you can do it.
Right.
And it can technically happen almost instantaneously. Okay, so like you could actually like wake up the next day and be 10 years younger if that's the thought that we implanted. Okay, but so what we're going to do is we're going to ask for assistance to remove the old belief systems around aging. And then we're going to implant the thought, by taking part in this quantum healing session, you have renewed your DNA and lengthened your telomeres to the point that when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to be 10 years younger, or whatever number you want it to be. Okay?
Right.
That's kind of cool there. And then for the hypnosis stuff, and of course you're going to get a copy. You'll watch this anyways, but I'm just talking to you because one hypnotist to another. There has to be trust, okay? Pure love, right? All things you can understand. We want to take away worries and fears during the induction. We want to engage. They didn't like the part where I was tensing and loosening muscles in that one, which is why I had to start over. I couldn't figure out what part was off on that, so I got to learn that. That was really good. They don't necessarily want us to think of like your sacred place, because now they have to think themselves and create. And so what they want us to do is just to make a peaceful scene, a river, ocean, beach, whatever it might be. Maybe talk to somebody before the session anyways and find out what they like. Oh, you like to go to the mountains? Great, that's what we're going to take. Okay. Right? Then I had been told in the past that I was going to be bringing in the rainbow energy into my induction a little more. And your higher self, which, by the way, the dragon is your oversoul. Specifically what it said. It said, I'm the oversoul. And I said, if I called in the highest version of Ursula's highest self, you're what would show up. And they said, yes. Okay, so maybe before, I can't remember, did I talk to like, you know, like your higher self, but it wasn't, right? I can't remember if I talked about that. I think I did, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
the dragon is the oversoul, and just chooses to present itself as a dragon. Um, it lives on the 18th dimension, which is where the angels are,
Mhm.
and not necessarily where all the other dragons are,
Right.
because it's an oversoul, right? Okay. So, in the induction, um, we want to bring in the higher self, the angels, the dragons, create a field of love, yeah, it must be love, around me and the client. Okay,
Oh,
so
the angels and dragons would do that.
yes, so we're going to ask the higher self, the angels, the dragons, all to come in
Right.
early on in the induction, create
Mhm.
a field of love that surrounds me and you.
Mhm.
Okay, then okay, so I'm a little out of order though. Before we do that, we bring in. Remember the thing I used to do where I would bring in like galactic and guides and source type of energy through the crown, and then I used to run it through the whole body. But nowadays I lock it into the heart. Then we bring in Gaia up through the feet. I lock her into the heart, and then I bring the rainbow out, and I say the rainbow represents all the colors, the seen and the unseen. Every color of the universe is in this rainbow, despite what you can see.
Mhm.
We don't want to talk about chakras anymore because they're changing colors and will just confuse the person.
Right.
The person will have an inner knowing of what's really going on, and you're telling something that goes against that, unless you're really, really good about it, right? Sorry. But anyways, then once we've got the rainbow around them, we're going to talk about gold color, platinum color, diamond plasma, liquid light, which will attune them to ascension energies.
Mhm.
And then what's going to allow me to bring in the higher self, the angels and the dragons, much easier at that point. So
Right.
we do the rainbow, all the colors there. They can just imagine. We don't have to go through them one at a time if we don't want to. But more colors that we can do at other times, like for instance, if we were on a beach, we would say that some of the sand is pink and some of the sand is blue, whatever, to get more colors in, because each color provides a certain type of healing, right? But we bring in the rainbow, and we want to talk about gold, platinum, and diamond, colors you don't normally see in it. That will allow the higher self, angels, dragons to come through, create that field of love around us both, and from there, I can ask them to help me to modulate the level of trance to where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's going to be and this was all based around me trying to get those people that are hard to get.
Right. Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Right. So the hard to hypnotize people, which I was talking. Oh, by the way, we got this new chick in our group named Leon Vander Heaven or something like that.
Oh, Nahiva, yeah, I know her from. I know her in inverted brackets from Keepers of the Codes. She's very
Yes,
into
that's her. Right. Right. So
South Africa.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So she's in our group now, and boy, man, so I just it's like me and you and Vanessa and some of these people that you just knew were supposed to be in this group, right? And I just applied to be in the Keepers of the Code, and she was like, "Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more," right? And then me and her just really hit it off good.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, I can't remember why I brought her up, but anyways, they were talking about flecks of the gold and platinum colors also in the rainbow. So I guess maybe we would have the normal rainbow with flecks of gold and platinum and diamond in
Right.
it. They did tell me some stuff about the chakras, how they're going to more kind of a pastel color, just for our knowledge. That there's like 12 main ones, and it went from Soul Star all the way down to the Earth Star, which is below you. Soul Stars is right up about there, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that the high heart was the same as the thymus, so I learned
Right.
that. I think there was one in the knees too, if I remember. Yeah, one in the knees as
Yeah,
well.
the link chakra.
Yeah, and then just keep your mind peeled for this giant, man, because all I know is it's in a field of dirt next to a road. Right? So if you can get any more, like somewhere within 5 to 10 miles of me, right? In the
Yeah.
desert. It's all desert. Like 5 to 10 miles is nothing but fucking desert, right? And there's
That's why I couldn't see any buildings.
I know, and there's nothing above ground either to tell me about it. That this might be the place, right? It would be neat if there was something there that would say, "Oh, there's a hand sticking out, and that's where how you know where to dig." Right? You know what I mean? And I guess you were saying it was just like the rib cage mostly in the
Yeah.
barn,
Mm.
but it was from a 20-footer, so that's what I wanted. So hey, we're on the case. But yeah, if you get any more on that, please let me know. Other than that, I'm gonna let you go, and I need to eat something, and hopefully I'll mellow out so I can take a nap. I'm pretty jacked up right now. But and they did some healing on me too, right? They were like, yeah,
Nice.
because I had the same problem as you, right? With people accusing me of shit. So I was like, hey, can you fix that for me too? And they're like, oh yeah, we got you, buddy. They're like, totally wouldn't have if I wouldn't have asked though.
Probably.
Right?
Because
So
you're not allowed to interfere. So that makes sense.
I mean, I was getting energies coming through me. I definitely could feel energies. When you were getting your body scan, I could feel some energies. But when I asked for that specific thing, I could really feel it ramp up, and then went, oh yeah, sure. Right? And I was like, oh, right. So hopefully I'll stop getting accused about crazy things now, and hopefully you will too. And unfortunately for you, I think you're still gonna get kind of kicked in the nuts once in a while. I think that's just part of your path.
That's my that's my mission. Is to get beaten out.
Yeah, right, exactly. Then those people are gonna feel bad, and they'll grow. Congratulations, Ursula.
Oh, oh God, that's so typical of me too. You know.
Oh God, yes. But I love you so much, Ursula. Thank you for your service. All right, thank you for your service to the planet and humanity and everything else. Okay, your sacrifice is appreciated by at least me. Okay. And you know what? The worst I'll ever do is tease you a little bit. All
Oh God.
right? Good natured, you know. But I'll never pick on you. I promise. Oh, we asked about your role on the team. This is so important. Such a good role. I would have never. Some of these roles are like, I would never even have thought to ask for that. I would never have imagined it in a million freaking years. It was the opposite of what I even thought was possible. So I really wouldn't have even thought to ask. Okay, so what's Ursula's role? How's she going to help? She's a bridge. She makes a field, a unified field that everybody can be within. Okay, so here's what I've always been told. I say, can I send a group of like 5 people off at the same time to the same place to examine it? And they say, yeah, as long as they're all the same vibration. I'm like, well, at least everybody in our group is pretty close. And the more I work with somebody, they tend to kind of get all to the same place. But still, it wasn't the answer. I mean, I don't like that answer. But I just can't take some newbie and go, come on into the group and send you off with us, right? Unless Ursula's there. You make them, because now we have a field and we're all standing inside that field. So it doesn't matter so much where we are as individuals. How cool is that? You basically empower the ability for groups to happen.
Wow.
You're like the cheat code for it. I could still do it, but you're like easy mode. How cool is that? And don't get too full of yourself. I can still do it.
That's yeah. Let's see how that works. Wow.
Yeah. So that and it also means I don't have to do quite as much experimentation before I pull the trigger on that. Now
Right.
I can just I just have to figure out when I can get everybody together at the same time.
Right.
But oh boy, that's super exciting. Super exciting. Yeah, and yeah, that's cool. So that's your special power to the team, and it just makes the whole team function as a team and so much better. It's a neat freaking power. Yeah. At least for me, right? From my perspective, it's something that I couldn't ask for anything better, honestly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I'm always thinking, like, I got these ideas in my head, like, oh, I want somebody that can lick a rock and tell me if it's made out of granite or quartzite. You know, like, I get these weird ideas for specialties that people are going to have, you know. And I've been dying for a map maker, cartographer, numbers, longitude, latitude person. I know that one's going to take a while. I keep asking for it. I'm trying to speak it into existence right now. But, you know, the problem with that person is he's the exact opposite of everything we need. Right? I mean, he's just analytical, doesn't meditate,
Right.
thinks that everything in the world is a 1 or a 0. It's black or it's white. It's on or it's off. Right? I mean, it's just not, that guy's going to be so hard for me to find the right one that's like into that and into woo woo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be a tall. It'll probably be the last thing I come across. Or I'm going to have to take one and just totally train him from the ground up. It's going to take me like 10 tries to even get him under once. And then once I do, it'll be fine, I'm sure. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody like that would be willing to experiment with you.
yeah. You know, I kind of been slacking with my video making lately because it's just so hard for me to do. I have to get my left brain activity, and these things just put me so far right brain. I just hate to do it.
I understand. I totally understand because that's the part I don't like so far of doing BQH. I don't like dealing with the videos afterwards.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because the first 1 or 2 of them I did, I actually thought it was kind of fun. I didn't mind it at all. And honestly, if I didn't do any sessions, I would love doing the videos because I would like get bored. I'd be kind of jonesing anyways for this kind of information, and so I would love getting to dig into those. But the problem is like I just knock out session. So I never get that kind of a 3 or 4 day drying out period that it takes for me to crave to do anything technical.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It's so time consuming for me. It takes about 2 days for one video.
oh yeah, the way you're set up.
Yeah, so you know, by the time you're halfway through the second day trying to upload this one video, you're just tearing your hair out and just like, will this finish? You know, it's not fun.
And all of yours have been fairly short too. I bet you none of them has even been as long as this one. Is probably double the length of anything. But
That's true actually, because I mean I've cut mine down considerably. I've always condensed it really to the main meat of the meeting, to be honest. But the main meat of this was quite long. It was long.
Oh, it's gonna be. Yeah. There's no way I can do it. All I can do, the best I could do is chop this up into 3 parts. You know, really. There's nothing that goes. Nothing goes except for the induction. That's it. But I mean, everything else stays. You know, maybe our pre-session chat, but I'll guarantee I'm going to see something in there that I think is interesting to other people because me and you are light workers talking about light worker things. Why would I get rid of any of that? You know.
Right.
But all right. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon when we're ready to do the next thing, and we'll keep pointing people your way too, so you can get some practice. All right.
Yeah, I've got to practice back on you again at some point. See if we can get you under.
We'll try. I don't mind practicing at all. I feel like every time I get a little closer, honestly. Laura, that was in my class for the Q, she got me the closest actually, and like closer than Patrick did, to be honest. So you never know how things are going to go.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're very welcome. Bye-bye.